Also, when I was over in Dresden at the Bilderberg meeting last week, I spoke to Marco and Maria. They're from We Are Change Rotterdam. And amongst examining the Bilderbergs, they've also been taking a very good look at this former Chief Justice in Holland. His name is Joyce Demmink.
My name is Marco Verheij. I'm from We Are Change Rotterdam, and this is our third Bilderberg we report on. We Are Change is citizen journalism, so we ask questions and we demand answers. We have a broad themes that we cover, so sometimes there's people that follow us because of we do unemployment as well in Holland, or we do the Bilderberg, and there's different subjects, so people coming through those subjects.
Well, I'm Maria, and together with Marco we started We Are Change Rotterdam, and we want to cover this because our mainstream media doesn't give a damn about it, or is refusing to share photos, information about this very secretive meeting.
So why is the mainstream media ignoring it almost? I mean, usually there are maybe a few reports, but there's no proper analysis. Why is that?
I think because they're part of this, they are in it. So if you see who is there who visited Bilderberg from the Dutch mainstream media in the last couple of years, that's quite interesting. We have this guy, it's called Ben Knapen. He was first head editor of the NRC, that is the main newspaper, intellectual newspaper in the Netherlands. After he visited Bilderberg, he went into politics and became a member of parliament. So I think that they're into this kind of secretive meetings, and that's the main reason that they are not reporting about it. And most of the time, when they put it in a newspaper, a very small column about it, it's all about conspiracy. So that's the main frame that mainstream media uses to cover everything up.
The thing is, it is a conspiracy, isn't it? There are financial criminals and war criminals inside.
Yeah, but it's a very important lobby group, it's a very important network. So I think the whole point about conspiracy, I prefer not to use that word anymore because it's so tainted. Yeah.
Tell me about some of the other participants from Holland who come to these meetings, and maybe one who's inside today.
Okay, well, I can name them all who are inside here from Holland. That's Mr. Van Beurden. He's the Shell manager, the big boss of Shell. Then there's our king, Alexander. He's here for the first time to take over from his mum, Beatrix. It's his sixth time for Alexander, and for Van Beurden it's I think it's fourth time. Then there's our Prime Minister, Rutte. It's his fourth time as well. And then there's two debutantes who are the mayor of Rotterdam, Ahmed Abu Taleb, and there's Sharon Dijksma. She's Labour Secretary of State.
The third person that is having her debut here is Kasia Ollengren, and she is
Deputy Mayor of Amsterdam, and she's from another democratic political party.
So what's the role of Bilderberg?
The role? I think it's a well-organized business network, and I think that the persons that are inside are wheeling and dealing with each other to make sure that they benefit. So it's to their best advantage that they're here, and I think it's a great career booster, and especially when we look at Abu Taleb, one of our mayor of Rotterdam, the first Islam mayor in Holland. We see that his star is rising since the moment that he spoke very firmly about jihadists, people that want to go to Syria to fight. So he said, let's get out, rot op. That is what he say in Dutch, rot op. And afterwards he was invited in the White House. There he put his signature also in Arabic. And now we see this guy here in Bilderberg, and we met him for several times. He refuses us every time to talk with us. And when we asked the spokesman of Abu Taleb just before he went to Bilderberg, and Marco went to him and he said, well, oh, you guys, you're just conspiracy guys. So that says it all. He's pitched Abu Taleb to get the sort of new head of the leading Labour Party in the Netherlands. And now he's here. What a surprise.
I think that this is also a big career move, or a career opportunity for people to show themselves in front of the elite of the world. They can really show that they are ready to join the big club. And once they've joined the big club, then doors open that before that were closed. We can see that in the career moves that some of the politicians made. You can see career moves going from politics to the bank or to a multinational or the other way around. Yeah, so I think it's a big career opportunity for people who are here.
Bilderberg is a Dutch word. Is it very well understood, this organisation in Holland?
You can say it's a German word, Bilderberg. So it's like a picture mountain. Yeah, Bilderberg. In Dutch, it's just a name. And it's the name of a well-known, also really good hotel chain. Yeah, so there's also a Bilderberg hotel in Rotterdam, for instance. The Bilderberg hotel in Oosterbeek, which is near Arnhem, was where the first Bilderberg was held in 1954. So that's the link with the name with Holland, and also, of course, with Prince Bernhard.
Is it well understood, this organisation in Holland?
No, I think it's not well understood. The way that this is framed in the media, I think the way that Bilderberg was presented by the alternative media, say 10, 15 years ago, was, oh, you should be ashamed of yourself if you're in here. Yeah? If you're at Bilderberg, you should be ashamed of yourself. Now I think the way that Bilderberg wants to be presented, so they want the media to cover it in a way that this is something to aspire for. Yeah? This is something where, wow, this is where you want to be, at Bilderberg. This is the top of the top. Yeah.
And what about the politicians and the media that are in here?
The politicians, I think, it's quite clear because they are supposed to lead the country. When we look at the journalists, I think that they want to present certain frames to the world. So they want the mainstream media to write a story in a way so that people will all think the same way. For instance, about Russia. Yeah, so we need to be angry with Russia. Putin is not a good guy. He's wrong. Yeah, he's evil. I think that there's a role there for that.
But you had an aircraft, didn't you? A Malaysian aircraft that flew from Amsterdam and was shot down over Ukraine, apparently by the separatists there. I mean, are you not angry with Russia?
Not me personally. When I hear this, I think of Mr. Rutte, who is inside here, who said that the bottom stone, that is the one that we will find and we will get this up. This means that we will get everything out in the open, we will find who did this, and we will get all the facts open for the Dutch people to look at, or for the families of the people who died there. Yeah, that's what he promised to the people who were left behind. He never did that. They presented lies in an official government document.
I noticed that there's actually a very good Dutch website that's looking into that, and also, I'm afraid to say, as a British person, the British have still got the black box from that aircraft, apparently, and they haven't released the information to the public and to the victims' families. So, but I mean, it's been quite big, that Malaysian airliner that flew from, I think it was going from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur, I think, and then it came down. Do you think that the Dutch people are convinced, ordinary Dutch people, that was a justification for the sanctions or not?
I don't think that they bring the two together, the sanctions and the aircraft being shut down. I think that they're angry with the government for not presenting them the truth. I don't know if I'm talking about a majority, but there's a lot of people that don't trust the government on MH17. Then on the other hand, the sanctions are the way that Russia is being viewed. I don't think there's a lot of people that put these two together. So about MH17, the Dutch government brought out this report in which whole pages were painted black, so they were censored, so that people could not find out what was said there. So many people just don't trust the government on this matter. On the other hand, there was this initiative from a media group who wanted a referendum on the joining of Ukraine with the EU. And a majority of the Dutch said they didn't want the Ukraine to enter the EU. They sort of stopped it, but on the other hand, the government is now looking for a way around to implement it still.
Concerning the referendum, it was a trade agreement that was already signed off in the European Commission. And people were so fed up with the whole situation about MH17 that they want to have a referendum to make sure, to make their mark that they were so fed up with it. And that was an effect on this trade agreement. They did it, so they had enough signatures to make that happen. But still, our government have to think about if they want to go through with this. So this is all, well, and especially about the politicians that are here, and that is my main concern. Also, I want to emphasize their role. It's a complete lack of democratic influence that we are experiencing. In there are politicians. Their job is representing the people. But in return, we get fences, we get no information, we get Chatham House rule. So how can they do their job as representatives of us if we are not aware of the information that they're sharing, the talks? For an example, Willem-Alexander, the whole House of Orange, our monarchs, have enormous amount of shares in Shell. So, you know, it's a very thin line between the politicians, the monarchy here, and the mainstream media. And the fences around here, it really illustrates that democracy it's nothing worth for them.
You do most of your work in Dutch, I imagine. Do you all in Dutch, pretty much? But there may be some Dutch people listening. Where can we find you online?
You can find us at wearechange.nl, which is our website, and then we are of course on YouTube. There's the whole archive of more than 300 publications we did in the last 4 years, and we can be found on Facebook.
We have also a playlist with subtitled and English spoken vids. So there you can find confrontations with a lot of Dutch Bilderbergers that we spoke. Sometimes they even really want to talk with us about that.
In Holland we had the Secretary General, which is the highest position on the Ministry of Justice, is a pedophile. He's now retired, but for years he held this position. Now there are some people saying, oh, we want this guy in court. Yeah, so they're trying to get him there. A few weeks ago he was there, but he was a witness. But still he was asked many questions that he didn't like, obviously. And when he came out of the courtroom, my colleague here was waiting for him to ask him some tough questions.
These are a couple of topics that drives us to explore the borders of democracy and also to unveil this kind of power mechanisms.
We have a lot of interviews in English as well. I mean, there's people that visit Holland where we go like, oh, we want to speak to that person. So there's a lot of interviews we have. We have an interview with Max Egan, Max Kaiser, about the Zionism. Norman Finkelstein, for instance, yeah.
Marco and Marie there from We Are Change Rotterdam, and the politician they're referring to there is Joris Demmink.